hitting record right now. So you guys, Kristen and I are just going to lead this thing tonight. Courtney's still traveling, doing her thing. Sorry for like not looking like a decent human being. I was at like a little lake with my son. So we just kind of have a few things on our agenda. We're going to talk about some things with Summit, but not like everything. We want to give like our biggest actual takeaways that have actionable items for all to like start doing right away. We'll obviously talk a little bit about the experience because you saw and you know, like it was incredible. And we want every single face on here, plus those teams that you're growing to all be there next year. So we can be like one of those teams that's just like huge and ginormous. So I'm going to pull this up really quickly. My son's like sitting on the floor right here, like rubbing my leg, trying to get my attention. What do you need?
I'm not rubbing your leg.
He's touching me.
I'm cold.
Yes, honey, I already said you could.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I did.
Woo!
And then at the end, we'll have a goal setting session with you guys. So just make sure you have your stuff out because this is important. So Kristen, do you want to start with, let's see, do you want to start with why it's important to go to Summit maybe? Should we start there?
Sure.
All right,
Yes.
go for it, girl.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys have seen pictures, but you're probably following everyone, so you've seen how much fun it is. So obviously, why Summit? It's so much fun. It's so much fun to meet all these faces because this time can only be so connective. Like it's a special part of what we do is have calls like this. But to be in person, it just obviously takes everything to the next level. Number one, to meeting your sponsor coach, which is obviously really special, but then meeting your team that you have built or are going to build. It's really, really special because you feel just so much more connected. It's so much more real. And it just cements those friendships even more. And like I was able to meet a lot of people that like are like obviously farther down in the downline that aren't like, wouldn't really have much interaction with them otherwise. And so like meeting Cherie's people and Liz's and different things like that. So it was really special to connect with them. It's just I feel so much more like it is a family in that way. And you're not going to get that just through video chats. I feel like we try, it's there, but just not as deep. So obviously a huge reason why we're here is for the community piece, and that is where you're going to find the biggest part of that. So that's why you want to be there. And you just feel a part of something bigger. Like we have our team that's growing and you feel a part of something big, but when you're there, like you're a part of something huge. Like thousands and thousands of people are trying to better themselves, to grow, and it's a really inspiring, empowering time to just see more of what you're actually a part of. And that's really cool. You obviously get to learn tons of practical tips on how to be a successful coach. So like tons of the top coaches or people that are doing well shared on all different types of things. So you get to really learn from the best of the best and from their hearts what works for them. And then you can take what you can to apply it to where the areas you need to grow. And obviously, whatever you're doing well, keep doing what you're doing. But then where you need to grow, that's where you get to learn from that. And then obviously, a big thing I learned is it just shows what's possible if you're willing to put what you've learned to action. Because everyone there has gone through like the hardest things ever. Cancer in their families, or divorces, or a massive amounts of debt, or moving a million times, or going through pregnancies and moves and their spouses aren't with them, like going through super hard things. And they're up on the stage, top coaches, just showing you what's possible, and that circumstances don't need to determine that for you. It's just if you want it and put it to action, like it's actually possible. And so that was really inspiring and encouraging for me. So that's all I'll say about that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with all of that. And like the only thing that like I would add from my personal experience is I can sometimes be easily intimidated by other people or successful people. When you go to these Beachbody things, like I told the girls that were there, like I joked that I used to think that going to Summit would just be all these ripped, chiseled people walking around with their egos. But you go there and you're like, these are like literally like people every shape and size, people from every background. There were people that flew there from like the UK and from Mexico and from Puerto Rico and like everywhere around the world. And it was like everyone was pursuing health in their own way, on their own unique journey. And it just reminded me that, like, just like Kristen said, we're part of something bigger than ourselves. And when we look around, that's like literally every single person there was a life touched by a coach, right? Like, and so they became a coach. And then they want to spread that love to other people. So it was like, when I looked around, I was like, these are literally all the lives touched, because we know that fitness and nutrition are so much more than just fitness and nutrition. And I just think you can't really duplicate that unless you're there in that atmosphere, breathing the same air, sweating along with everybody. The super workout was just crazy. Like, I'm not huge on working out with other people, but when you look around and you realize that all these people are like just with you, and it's just like, this is the one time where I'm not working out in my living room and I'm with all these people and seeing how everyone else pursues these workouts, and it's just like so cool. So really, honestly, the whole reason why we're telling you all that is because we want you to purchase your ticket, and we want you to make that commitment to go. Because for one, like, it shows that you're committed to actually doing this and being a part of a team culture, and not just sitting behind your computer or your phone doing it alone, because that's how it can feel so often. But it also shows that, like, you believe in investing in yourself and in this business. And like, my husband, he works for a big company, and he's like, they send people to trainings, and their company, like, the CEO has to pay for trainings for themselves and for all these people all the time. So to spend, what is it, $130 right now for the ticket is nothing. Most people have to spend thousands, especially as CEOs. So like, I just think we'd be silly not to do that and make that commitment. And we all know that where you put your money shows where you are actually believing, right? Like, I bought a Beachbody program because I was believing I could do something. So all of that being said, if you have anything else to add, Kristen?
I think you asked, like, and why should they bring their teams with them? So I'll just say to, so that you grow together as a team, so that you like cultivate the vision for your team when you're all there together. You have fun and like just getting the most out of the community. But I just love that we were there experiencing that. And like, we openly, like, out loud said our goals, and like, we have like such a greater amount of accountability now to make that happen and to follow through, which is like scary, but like good. And you know, that's like what you need. So
and even Courtney would be like, if we were dreaming too small, she'd be like, I'm going to challenge you on that. And we'd all be like, oh, like a couple of us were just like frightened. It was in a good way. Like, we need that, right? Like, we need that. And your coach should call you out and call you up, as I say. So yeah, be there. That's the whole point. Be there next year. So then we can all hug you and all that good stuff. Yeah, and Darren, I think you would actually have fun. I was looking around, I was like, look at, the guys have grown since last year. There are more guys here. And there's like a couple of them that are like top 15 that were like recognized and stuff like that. And many of them in the Millions Club, just saying. So definitely make it there. Yes. No, not right now. I'm sorry. So the next thing so Kristen and I both have, like, I just said, well, let's take, okay, I'll show you my notebook, you guys. I'm also a huge geek, so just be warned. But like, our trainings, all right, I started it right here, and like, I could flip through, like, this is all just from Summit, right? Like, this is crazy. So I wanted to take this and be like, okay, we can't share all of this with you, but if Chris and I had to choose 1, 2, or 3 top things that you could apply right now, like that, and anyone else who's there, like, I see Shelly's on, Emily's on, Courtney. So yeah, anyone else who's there, if you think of anything else, you can either just say it or type it in the comments if we missed something. And Liz is on. I saw her pop up. So we're going to share like our biggest things that we think, like, hey, this is what you can apply right now that will help you in your business. So this is where I want you to start writing things down. And Kristen, it's up to you if you want to start or if you want me to start. I don't care either way.
I'll go first. I don't care.
Sweet.
Okay. So there's so many things. I don't really know for sure if I would say these are my top ones, but they're really practical, and there's something that I started applying today. So just the first one is the way they taught us about making connections with people is like the 5-3-1 connection. So when you go to someone's page, that profile that you connect with, you can tell that's your person. You see all these things you have in common. So what you do is 5-3-1. You like 5 pictures, you comment on 3 pictures, and then so that's where the 5 comes in, is liking. The 3 comes in for making comments, and then the 1 comes in for either following or messaging. So it can be one of those two, and doing 20 of those every day. And I really like that because I can really just like not think about it and just like follow so many people, but I never actually, they might miss me in their notifications. Like if you do this, you're going to blow up their notifications. They're going to go to your page, no doubt about it. And if they're your person, they're going to follow you and they're going to want to interact with your stuff. And that's what you want. And if you only are following all these random people, but you never even open their page or you never even put yourself out there to them in any way, it's just, it could be like more of a waste of time. And I think I've wasted a lot of time. So this is a way to be a little bit more effective. It might take a little more time, but it might be better. Like I'm thinking how this would be so much better than just like cold hey girls, kind of, even with people, because you're liking, commenting, like you're reading their stuff, you're interacting, you're caring about them. So doing 20 of those a day, that's what a lot of people said they were doing. So that's what I did today. So that's a really practical takeaway. The second one is following hashtags. It's like really practical, simple. I never really thought about it. I forgot that you could do that. So yes, we create lists of hashtags to like put on our posts that want to reach out to our people. But like you can actually follow hashtags. And the benefit of this is so that your newsfeed will come up with more people in it, not just people you're following, but people that have that hashtag, and that you're going to be able to relate and find more people that way. So when you find yourself scrolling on accident when you shouldn't be, maybe you'll find someone you can connect with through following some hashtags. So if you haven't already, you need to make hashtag lists, make like 3 even, one that relates to fitness, one that relates to maybe just you and with coaching, and don't do all the ones that all of us do, because then that was pointless. So obviously that's going to take some time, but it's really worth it to do that. Yeah. And then the last one.
Can I say something real quick about that? Because otherwise I forget. So I don't know how many of you invest in trainings for yourself for like the business, but speaking of hashtags, I just saw that Shalene Johnson's son, his name's Brock Johnson, he has a hashtag course, like basically how to figure out hashtags that relate to you, create a list, follow them, like, and use them effectively to not only grow your following, but connect with more people like you. It's $27. So like if you have never invested in something and you think like hashtags are something you're just so lost on, I think that's a good opportunity. I think you could just Google like Brock Johnson and then hashtag course or something, just for people, because I like wasn't even thinking that, but when you said that I was like, oh yeah, I just got that email this morning. I'm not sure if I'll do it yet. I'm gonna see, but just for anyone who might need that. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's great. Every resource that you can have is an awesome tool. Yeah, that's a great idea. So then the last thing isn't really a practical tip, but I just love the quote from the weekend. And it's, if you sort of kind of try, you sort of kind of get results. So I think we've all been in that place where we've had days where we sort of kind of did what we needed to do, and we sort of kind of probably saw no results from that. So if you want to see results, you have to be all in. You have to do all the things. And so it works the same way with fitness. If you sort of kind of do your workout plan or your nutrition plan, you sort of kind of get results. But when you do it all the way through is when you're going to maximize your efforts and get the results that you want. So treat it like it's your job and treat it like you need this. Because if you only want coaching, you're not going to do what it takes. Like I'm speaking because I know that I've had seasons of feeling like, oh yeah, I want to be a coach. I want this, I want that. But if I don't need it, I'm not going to want to get up when that alarm goes off. I'm not going to want to take the time to message people or do the work to find the right people to message, and so forth. So find the thing that makes you need this, and make it so that you see that often, because then you're going to do what it takes. So I guess that is a practical tip.
No, absolutely. And that was actually like part of one of the things that I was going to share too, was like you have to find that thing that lights a fire in you so much, and it's a fire that can never die. For those of us who have like families or something like that, like for me, this is easy. I look at my son every day. I look at my stepsons every day. I look at my husband every day, and I'm like, I can't fail at this. I can't give up, because I promised them. that we'd go to Hawaii, you know, like, and I would pay for it from my coaching business. I promised them that these things would happen. I promised my husband he wouldn't have to work a job he doesn't really love for the rest, you know, so I have to like keep going. But sometimes even that's not enough because we have an okay income right now. And like, so I can start to like fizzle. So then I have to think of other things. I'm like, well, we're not giving right now to the things that we want to give. We know plenty of missionaries that are struggling to serve their people, you know, so you have to have like a list of probably 3 to 5 that are like, okay, if that one doesn't work today, which one's going to work? So I love that because I had that too.
You're going to know it's one of those things when it touches your emotions. So like this weekend when I noticed myself tearing up, I'm like, okay, those are one of those things that I need to remember. So like when you say, what makes you need it, like what actually touches your emotions, what gets you emotional about why you need this. And that's what things you want to remember.
Absolutely.
All right, keep going.
No, thank you. Okay, so the other 2 that I have, and I feel like one is something that probably isn't emphasized quite enough, or there hasn't really been put like a number on the formula for it. So I want you to write these 2 things down for sure. And one of them has like a list of things that go with it. So this one is, speaking of connecting, which Kristen talked about, we need to be connecting with more people. So I love that 20, the 5-3-1 thing, like 20 a day. I think we should all just really work to make that happen, to connect with 20 new people a day, because that is the only way we're going to grow. When you hear all these top coaches, they just said all they do is like they're connecting with new people. And you guys, how are you going to find the people that need you and your help and all the gifts that God gave you if you're hiding behind your fears? You're not. So connecting with more people. Now, here's the interesting thing that I heard, and that I've heard from Christy Kronzer before, who's like kind of like our great-grandmother coach for some of us. But it takes about 100 invites to hit Success Club. So and that's Success Club 5 or 6. You know, sometimes that'll get you a lot more, but sometimes that'll barely get you there. I find that my formula is 100 invites will get me to Success Club 5 or 6. And maybe it's just the way that I spin it. Maybe it's the people in my niche. I'm not sure. But that is the number. If you look at your month, you need to be like, how am I going to have invited 100 people, let's just say like by the 25th, because we all know that we're going to invite people like until the 30th, but some of those people will take days or weeks to decide they want to join us. So like 100 people if you're aiming for Success Club 5 or 6. And that I don't want to scare anyone with that, but I just think it's really important that we're realistic about this, because people are, you know, they're used to being marketed to now by people like us, but, you know, not as cool, of course, but like they're just used to people reaching out to them and asking them. A lot of people are afraid, and so they think about it, but they like ghost you, but they're still thinking about it in the back of their mind. So talking to more people is going to be really important, and not just talking to them and like saying, hey, like, how's it going? Thank you so much for liking my post. But like, I've got this amazing opportunity. Like, would you be interested, you know, actually inviting them? So just keep that number in the back of your head. And what I think is really important is that you take out your calendar, whichever calendar you use. I use like a paper and pen planner, but whatever. And just like setting a reminder that at whatever time today you're gonna sit down, do your power hour, and how many are you gonna invite today? Why don't you just invite 5 a day, like 5 days a week or something, right? Like that'll get you there. So think about how you wanna do that. Contact your personally sponsored coach if that number honestly scares the crap out of you and you just like want to quit now. I hope it doesn't, but the one speaker I heard that said that was like, you shouldn't be afraid of it, but we get that can be overwhelming. But talk to your personally sponsored coach to strategize that. We are so happy, like PS coaches are so happy to help you strategize your goals. Like, yes, please, I'll take one-on-one calls all the time, okay? So the other one is, what I loved is we hear treat your business like a business all the time, right? We hear that all the time, but how many of us have ever owned our own business before this? Like, right? And I think, Kristen, you might have said this, that you heard like treat it like a job. Was that you or someone else said that? Yeah, you. Like treat it like a job, because we've all had jobs before, right? Like we've all had jobs before, and so we know what a job is like. And would your boss keep you around, or would you be fired for how you're showing up to your Beachbody job, right? So however you want to think of that. But here are the practical things that these top coaches said. This is how you implement treating your business like a business. So write these down. Number 1, use the product line. So number one is use the product line. How do you know what to recommend for someone if you've never used it? And this was something, I'll be really honest, that I struggled with at first, because I was like, I don't want to be spending more money to try and make money. Like, this doesn't make sense to me, because when you're not making a ton of money before you hit like emerald and diamond or whatever, like you're just kind of going, well, I feel like I'm just constantly investing back in the business. But you know, you can just switch your personal volume around kind of each month if you want, or like every few months kind of switch it up. Like sometimes we get the performance line and sometimes we get Shakeology on my husband's account. We just switch that one back and forth. Because I want to know, like, how do the beach bars taste? I'm not going to tell someone to get them if I don't know what they taste like. That's just like shady, kind of. I mean, you can still recommend them, but I feel much more confident and comfortable now that I say cherry chocolate almond is the bomb.com. Everyone needs to eat it. It's so good. Like, I seriously mean that. But like, have you ever had Energize? Have you ever had the post-workout shakes? These are things that we kind of need to like experiment with, again, to build our confidence in what we're representing. And for me, this has made it easier. I was like, when they were talking about this, I was like, oh, heck yeah. Like, I do feel more confident saying everyone needs this post-workout shake, because I use it. I sent it to 2 of my dietitian friends, told them to analyze it, and they were like, keep buying that, sister. I was like, thank you. So that's number one. Number 2, leverage the launches. Number 2 is leverage the launches. And I think we all do a pretty dang good job of this, especially with this Lift 4 one when we all teamed up together. But when you know there's a product launch or like a program launch coming up, like use that, like show up with that in your stories and like talk about how excited you are. Post about it, you know, once in a while, but be very intentional about how you post about it. But when Beachbody is launching this, because think about all that Beachbody does for us. They literally organize all of this stuff. Like, they do all of the hard work, honestly. And like by putting it together and making sure it's something with integrity. Now we just have to use those launches and programs to build our businesses. So there are a bunch coming up, you guys, that you need to get stoked about like ASAP, because Chris Downing's coming out with one. Sean T is coming out with one that's 20 minutes a day. Like, what? Who can't do 20 minutes a day? And it's going to be right after New Year's, so people are going to be stoked for that. But make sure you're excited about that. The third one is be solution-oriented, not problem-oriented. So every time you come across a problem in your business, with yourself, with anything else, really just practice on focusing on, okay, this is my problem, but I'm not going to sit here and feel sorry for myself. What is the solution to that problem? If you don't know how to find the solution to your problem in your business, contact your personally sponsored coach. Look up YouTube videos, like figure it out. But always know that as a business owner, if you're only focusing on the problems, you will never move your business forward. You always have to focus on what is a possible solution, be as creative as possible. Fourth one is you should be logging on to your Coach Online office every day. I was convicted about this because I'm like every other day, because sometimes I know where I'm at and I don't want to see that Success Club number isn't where I want it to be or whatever. But you should look at your Coach Online office every day for news, announcements that come from corporate, for like promotional things. All the FAQs are in there. And you guys, there's training in the Coach Online office. That is the only way that I learned this business when I first signed up, because Courtney was new and she didn't have anything set up for us. And I wasn't a part of any other team pages except hers. So she literally just said, okay, here's how you coach. Go on your Coach Online office. There's a bunch of trainings in there. And then like basically like figure it out. and it's really good. Yeah, it's really good. Wait, did someone want to say something?
I want to add something about that, because if you weren't at Summit, they record all these trainings. They record every single session from every single hall. They record every single general session, and it gets put on the Beachbody website. Mm-hmm. So you can go into the training section, into the resources, figure it out. It's really easy to navigate compared to the old online office where we all had to learn how to do this business. You can find them. I'm not going to like share my screen and look for them for you, because they're probably not uploaded yet. But just go in there and search around and find them, because they are in. Like, you basically didn't have to buy your $130 ticket, your $145 new coach ticket. You didn't have to pay that, and you still get access to those trainings. So go watch them, and don't waste your time watching them. Like, go, just like we spent this weekend learning and then going and applying, like make it your PD for like 3 weeks. Watch one a day. They're all 20, 30 minutes. Make that your PD every day until you get through all of the trainings from this summit, because they're amazing. So that's all I have to say. It's not like, I'm not saying you should go do it. I'm saying you go do it. Go do it. So good.
That's awesome. Yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. Perfect. Okay. The next one is know the compensation plan. I'll be honest with my team. I've been really bad about like providing exact materials for how the compensation plan works and like posting videos about it and stuff like that. And again, because what I did was I just went on Coach Online Office and I found all the compensation plan videos and I just watched them. I'm not a numbers person. So sometimes like when they start getting into the nitty gritty of like how many star diamond and second business center, I'm like, hang on, okay, my head hurts a little bit, but I will figure it out, right? Like that's just the thing is I'm a words person, not a numbers person, but I need to be a numbers person to get where I want to go. So figure out the compensation plan. There are oodles of YouTube videos out there, like so many, but your Coach Online Office has always the most recent updated one from Beachbody Corporate. And it's important for you to know because then you can reverse engineer your goals. If you know that you would really love to either quit the job that you have or be able to go part-time or something, then you need to know how much money you need to make. And then you need to know how to get to that number. I know what I need to do to get to the number that I'm hoping for, and it scares the crap out of me, okay, you guys? It really does. But I also know and believe in my ability to figure out anything. I see these people at Summit, and I'm like, if they can do it, I know that I can. I might need a little more time or I might need to sort some things out, but I know that I can do that. And I'm looking at the compensation plan and going, this is how many coaches I need, and this is what I like need everyone to do, and how am I going to be that inspiration motivator to like drive a team like these people do. So long story short, get to know the compensation plan, print out their PDFs and stuff, talk it over. If you're someone who's married or has like a boyfriend or whatever, like my husband wants to know this stuff. Your husband or significant other probably wants to know this stuff so they know if you're taking action on the right things. Speaking of which, there's just two more. Know when to invest. So they explain this one like you're going to invest in some trainings for yourself. You might invest in like if you're a mom and you have kids, like maybe 2 days a week, you just get a sitter to watch them for a couple hours so you can work your Beachbody business. Maybe this is what I want to do. Hire a cleaning person so you don't have to waste time cleaning your house when you could be working on your business, and like figure out what that number is that you could invest maybe each month, and then figure out how you can use those resources to help your business grow. Because at the end of the day, we have to make the time for this business. We can't keep saying, oh, well, I was so busy. I got so busy. Things happen. And so like, yeah, that's everyone. Like I'm so busy. We're moving right now. Liz just moved like twice. She's moved so many times since she started this business. And like every time she's showing up. And I just feel like if we're all doing that, so can everyone, right? Like if she's doing it, then I can't hide behind my excuses. So, but anyway, know when to invest in your business, know how to invest your time. And the last one is just show up like it's a multi-million-dollar business. A multi-million-dollar business cannot have a CEO who only shows up when they feel like it. Like that would not work. You would not have a business at all. And even if you're not having a multi-million-dollar business, even if you're having a $0 business right now, maybe it's because you're showing up like it's a $0 business, that you're letting that number dictate the way that you show up instead of letting like the way that you want that number to look dictate how you show up. Do you know what I mean? Like I know what I want that number to look like. So when like today I was so tired today, you guys. I actually did fall asleep on the couch, but I fell asleep while I was DMing someone. Like my phone was like on me when I woke back up because I was like, I'm so tired, but I know what I want. And my team just motivated me over Summit. And I don't want to let anyone down. I'm tired of letting myself down and other people down. And so we have to show up like it's a multi-million-dollar business. And now you know how to do that. So with that being said, we only have a few minutes left, and I'll tell you what we're doing now. And then if anyone else who was at Summit wants to chime in with anything while like after that, we can do that. So what we did was we sat around in a circle, like a beautiful powwow. And we said, Courtney was like, all right, we're going to write down our takeaways, which we already just told you some of them. We're going to write down our goals. What are our goals? Like, what do you want to do? by this time next year. But also, like, I did like a 6-month and a 1-year goal, because for me that helps me like strategize it, so you could do it either way. And then what are the immediate action items you are going to implement to make sure you can reach those goals? So what I want everyone to do right now, we'll just take a few minutes. We only have like 6 minutes left on the meeting anyway, but like take 3 minutes, and even if it's a big, what do they call it, BHAG, big, hairy, audacious goal, right? Even if it's like a goal that scares you, makes you want to faint on the floor, like write that down. That means it means something. So write down, let's say, how many goals do you think, girls? Like 2 to 3? Yeah. 2 to 3 goals of like where you want to be at this time next year in your business. And then start writing down like how are you going to get there. And what you're going to do with this is you are going to message your personally sponsored coach once you've done this, and you're going to tell them what your goal is and what your action items are. And like your PS coach will give you feedback, just like Courtney did with us. She was like, excuse me? No, like dream bigger, and then here's what else you need to do, which was amazing. I loved it. So go ahead and do that right now. And then if anyone wants to chime in with other stuff, you can. If people who were at Summit want to type one of your goals in the chat box just to give an example, maybe I'll do that. But if anyone else wants to do that too, go ahead. If anyone has a goal that they want to share, we'd love to hear it. You don't have to, but as we were typing ours down, I think it's cool to hear other people's hearts. So feel free. Jocelyn, do you have one? I mean, you can keep it a secret if you want.
Sorry, I had to unmute me. Well, currently I'm not really working yet, but I need to start again. I want to have like my own coaches. I was trying beforehand, so I don't really know exactly what I want yet, but I'm moving home. I quit my job down here, so I'm going back to New York in a month.
Oh, Wow.
So yeah, so everything's changing. So I'm thinking I have a part-time job back home right now, so I'm thinking maybe I'll just work this business and that part-time job. So I don't know. It's all changing right now, so I'm still working on it.
Yeah, no, that's okay. You and I can just have a chat as soon as things settle for you, and we can like reverse engineer your goals together, or like talk about goals and stuff.
Yeah.
If it cuts this off, you guys just know that whatever you write down, just as soon as you get them written down, make sure you talk to your personally sponsored coach. And Kristen, do you have anything to add? Yeah.
Not really. I think you well said it.
Thank you. You guys, honestly, thank you so much for being on tonight. It's awesome to see everyone, and I can't wait to hear everyone's dreams and watch them come true. And can't wait to hug you all in person for real at Summit next year. It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
All right. Thanks so much, you guys. I'm going to end the recording and then stop the meeting. Talk to you later.